Monday, September the 30th, 2024 is a day that will go down in history. It's a monumental occasion for the steel industry, the steelworks here in Port Talbot, as well as the wider community. It is a day that ironmaking comes to an end. The first piece of the jigsaw has been here at the Sinter Plant this morning, and just after 11 a.m, the last ever piece of sinter came off the strand just behind us here. I'm joined by Rachel Lloyd, who's the engineering manager here at the Sinter Plant. Rachel, thanks for joining us this morning. It's clearly been an extremely emotional occasion, not just today, but the whole weekend. Talk us through some of that emotion, please, if you could.
Yeah, so yesterday we switched the hood off and we stopped the strand. That was an emotional day, really. We were a few of us in here, just videoing it, making sure we capture those moments, because we recognise it's the last ever time, and that's quite a scary thought, really, considering it's been 46 years of the Sinter Plant.
46 years, I mean, it's huge when you think about it, isn't it? So it's a massive piece of the history, not only of the steelworks here, but, like I said, the wider community as well. Like you said, a difficult and emotional weekend for everyone here, the entire team. But let's not forget, there's a huge amount of planning that's gone into reaching this point. Tell us a little bit about the work that's gone behind the scenes.
Yeah, so for the last 3 or 4 months now, we've been doing our hazard studies. We're trying to make sure we captured all the key risks of the plant. So we've got a job list now of things we can work through now to make the plant safe now, ready for the decommissioning team to start.
And it's part of the plant that many people may not be that familiar with. So tell us first of all, what exactly is Sinter, and what role does it play in the steel making process as a whole?
Okay, so Sinter comes from the harbour and the blending plant. We pick it up and we cook it on the strand, and I've actually got some here that we made earlier. So the Sinter is literally the iron ore baked into this hard lump of sinter, and then that's sent to the blast furnace then. So you see, there would be sinter or pellets would be taken to the blast furnace then to produce the pig iron.
So it's clearly, a vital, crucial part of the process. Without sinter, we simply could not make the steel that we made over the many years here.
Yes, definitely. So we've done about 148 million tonnes, I think, since 1978. So yes, it's quite an emotional day now, just for that to be at an end, really. And
just finally then, Rachel, obviously we've spoken about the difficulty of the day, the huge emotion of the day. It's the end of a chapter, the end of an era. But also I sense a great deal of pride among the team here today. Is that fair to say?
Oh yes, definitely. We've had not just the people who work here now, we've had some people who've retired. Up to one gentleman retired 25 years ago and he's come in. And we've had people who finished more recently due to the job uncertainty. They've come back as well, just to see the end of the process. So it's, everybody's got a huge amount of pride in the process, and want to give it a good send off.
Yeah, and that's something I've sensed, over the past sort of number of years working here, that there is that huge camaraderie, that huge sense of pride among the team here. And you can see that again today with the ex-employees who've come in. Yeah. That doesn't seem to leave them, does it?
No, definitely. So for everybody really who's worked here over the years, it's a great team environment I've found, which is why I've been here for the last 14 years. So so it's been a good day, I think, and I think we've done ourselves proud.
So here we are, the 30th of September 2024, the end of iron making at the Port Talbot Steelworks. Very difficult day. It follows other closures across the site. So the coke ovens is closed, blast furnace 5 closed, caster 2 closed, the harbour's closed, and the ore yards have closed. But today is probably the defining moment of that closure programme before the company moves to electric arc furnace steelmaking, because this is the last iron and the last blast furnace based steel to be made on the Port Talbot site. So we've come along to capture it for posterity, to meet some of the people who are involved and to follow that process through from the Sinter Plant, which ceased yesterday, through to iron, to steel, and to the last slab coming out of the casters in the current format. Joined by Stuart Phillips, who's shift manager here. Stuart, we spent many an hour up on this cast house floor. Last time today. Tell us a bit about the process that you've been through over the last day or two to get to where we are now.
Yeah, so the process we've been through, we're really setting the furnace up now to take it off for forever. So we've charged the last material into the furnace this morning at 4 AM, and we're currently waiting now for the burden to come down. We're currently on 18 metres. When it gets down to sort of 22.5 metres, we'll be down at the tuyeres, and then we'll ultimately cease operation. So a huge process going on behind the scenes. We are currently up on the cast house, and there's a team behind us in a control room that monitoring every aspect of the plant, really, ensuring that all the safety, all the quality aspects are in control.
Yeah.
And just really planning and making sure that the furnace is shut down in a safe manner.
Yeah, because it kind of goes down like dominoes, doesn't it? I mentioned the Sinter Plant last Sinter yesterday, and then that process goes fairly quickly. What's the sort of timings look like today in terms of how soon these things happen?
Yeah, so we made our last Sinter yesterday. Sinter Plant come back on, so we had some fresh Sinter, and that really, the strand shut down yesterday afternoon. We made 600 ton yesterday. We've run the remainder of that off this morning now through the strand, through the cooler. That's been transported up to the bunkers.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just running everything down behind the scenes. So it was a huge project, and we just want to make sure that we've utilised all the materials that have been produced.
Yeah.
And leaving as little on the floor really as we possibly can. So
Yeah.
a lot of planning has gone into it. There's been a lot of support, a lot of effort from a huge range of people, and we are really just the tail end of the process now, waiting for the burden to be depleted, to be burnt away.
Yeah.
And then it'll be the end of iron making as we know it in South Wales.
Yeah, and we're standing behind the east tap hole, I think, here. There's still a little while to go. I've heard some of the guys saying there's going to be a special sort of tap at the end where you come to the end of the burden, you open both tap holes, and I guess then they go into the torpedoes off the steel plant.
Yeah, so if you can imagine, it's sort of a furnace, the best way to describe it is we're always making iron, and we'll always need to drain it out. So the liquid level inside the furnace now will drop. It's a bit like pulling a plug out of the bath. We'll drain that level down, and later on today we'll be coming to the remnants of that iron. Yeah. So it's a bit of a sad time. We'll look at draining the last of the liquid out. We'll have a final cast probably on the south, and then we'll open up the east tap just to make sure that everything in there is dry and all the liquid's drained off.
And of course, people might think that once the last iron has come out of the furnace, you kind of turn it off and walk away. But we know from number 5 next door, there's still heat going through the furnace now. So it's still quite a bit of decommissioning and work left on the furnace after today, isn't there?
Yeah, so we'll be here in over several months. Number 5 furnace, it actually shut down nearly 3 months ago, and the burden is still alight. It's almost like a big bonfire, really.
Yeah.
The coke in the hearth is still cooking, and we'll be monitoring this now. We'll be monitoring all the cool down parameters, all the temperatures in the furnace. They're still going to be making gas, etc.
Yeah.
And we're going to start a huge decommissioning process then to make the plant safe, purge it full of any gas.
Yeah.
And yeah, just really isolate everything and just leave it sit then as we have on number 5 furnace.
Yeah, no, I'm going to let you go because I know there's only a couple of hours to go till this furnace is finally drained, and hopefully talk to you at the end of the day to see how it's all gone. But I wish you and your team luck here. Hope it goes smoothly and safely, and yeah, we'll come back to you at the end of the day and hopefully review on a successful day but a sad one.
Yes, excellent. Thank you very much.
Thanks. So here we are outside Blast Furnace 4. You can see that the bleeders have opened behind us, and we've just witnessed the last iron to be produced from the furnace. And it does feel really emotional, the end of the life of this furnace. And with Stuart Phillips again. Stuart, we spoke to you at the beginning of the day. Firstly, how's the process gone today?
Yeah, process has gone very well. It's been well controlled. I think it's followed plan, to be honest. So it's some exceptional detail in the planning has gone into it. I think it's credit, in fact, Sir Paul Evans and his team for all the technical support he's had. And yeah, it's gone about 3 hours faster than anticipated. So
yeah, it seems to have taken its time, but I guess number 5 went down really smoothly. Number 4 has gone down really smoothly. So credit to all of those people involved in that, because it's been planned for months and months and months. And I guess you're probably a relieved man, although we've not quite seen the end of it yet, have we?
Yeah, no. Well, I don't know, but relieved, quite sad, to be honest. It's quite a somber feeling, reflecting back through today and talking to people and actually looking at what's going on. But yeah, it's a start of a journey now, probably for us. We've got probably 3 to 4 months ahead now of quenching and cooling the furnace, monitoring, continue to make it safe. There's a load of isolations to go on, a load of purging and things. Yeah. And yeah, just really letting everything settle. And I'll be honest, I don't think the feeling of not managing these is going to sink in for a while. It's we sort of felt a touch of it with number 5, but I think over the next week or 2 now it'll become far more real for myself and for everybody else on plant.
Yeah, and there was lots of mixed emotions up there. At times it was very quiet and very somber. At times it felt like a last day at school with lots of people laughing and joking and getting some of their emotions out. But you've been here all your career, 27 years. Lots of these guys around you will have been the same. It's a hell of an end of an era, isn't it, for everybody?
Yeah, it is almost like losing a family member or something. It's something I've known for my entire working career. I started back, as you mentioned, 1997. I remember walking into the jump desk with one of the old team leaders, Martin Parker, myself and Garth Edwards. We were 2 young, naive apprentices back then, and we've sort of come through the ranks, and fortunately I think there's a bit of a bittersweet feeling, really, that we're part of a legacy, we're part of history, we're part of something that has shaped Port Talbot and shaped the steelworks. Yeah,
and I saw a couple of apprentices up there, a year, 18 months into their whole careers, and they were kind of thinking, this was going to be me for life, and now I've got to move on. But what would you say to them with their whole careers ahead of them, potentially within the company?
I think that they've been quite clear with this message from the beginning. I think Tata have committed to the future, they've committed the money, they've stood by everything they've said so far. And the board have been quite clear, quite concise and transparent in many respects of what their objectives are. I'm confident of the fact that there's still going to be steel making in South Wales, albeit in a different capacity to what we've traditionally known.
Yeah. Listen, Stuart, I know you've got plenty more jobs to do this afternoon, this evening. Just finally, for those in the community looking on, what can they expect to see over the coming hours and days in terms of the visual spectacle of the furnace?
We'll continue to see steam emitting from the bleeders, the same as what's happened on number 5. We'll continue to see that for probably 3 to 4 months going forward. There's still a lot of processes left to complete. We've got to quench the remaining burden that sat within the furnace. That's still burning, as is number 5 furnace. So, there's nothing to be alarmed about. I still have a lot of my friends and people from the community ask me quite regular, why is number 5 still got steam coming from it? But it's just a controlled procedure that we'll carry out over the forthcoming months to ensure that the furnace is safe, and in the foreseeable future we'll probably start to see it being dismantled at some point.
Yeah. Listen, Stuart, I know like I say you've got lots to do this evening. I'd like to have my personal thanks for you and your team hosting me over many years in these furnaces, and lots of media who have been here as well, and always kept make sure we're safe. We understood the process and are wowed by the impression, and sadly those days are behind us, but again today your team have been fantastic. They've welcomed us here with open arms, they've made sure we're safe, they've made sure we've got everything we want, and I'll be eternally grateful to you and your team for that. So all the very best going forward, Stuart.
Thank you.
Torpedo number 46 left blast furnace 4 and arrived here at the Boss plant a short while ago. It was then poured into ladle number 6 and taken to the steelmaking vessel you see behind us. That has now been tapped and is on its way to secondary steelmaking. We're going to go catch up with this journey in continuous casting, where it's going to be cast into slabs, the last slabs to be produced from blast furnace iron here in Port Talbot. So it's just gone 6 p.m. and the last slab has now rolled off here at continuous casting in Port Talbot amid poignant and emotional scenes. I'm joined now by Paul Maddox. Paul, it's been a difficult day obviously for everyone here, an emotional day. How the team's coped with it today?
Yeah, like you said, it's been quite sad, quite emotional. I think people have been really strong, to be honest, within the department. It's obviously just seeing a place like this close. It's quite heartbreaking, but I think people see the potential going forward for the business. The zero carbon, the amount of money that we're going to hopefully get spending on the machines, building a new arc furnace. So for the future of Port Talbot and South Wales steel industry, fingers crossed, there's a good future for us all.
Yeah, like you said, it's important to remember that, Paul, isn't it? It has been an incredibly difficult day, but there is a start of a new chapter. And I've noticed today among the team here today that it's the emotion has obviously been a lot to cope with for some people. But there's been some moments of happiness as people look back as well, and a lot of pride among the team.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, of course, a lot of us have worked many years together. I've worked nearly almost 20 years in this department. It's definitely a strong team between the production, technical and the engineering. Again, it's a family within itself. We laugh together, we sort of work together, we argue, but we all, trying to achieve the same goal. And it's a great place to work. It's a fantastic place to work.
Paul, appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Josh, if I can bring you in next. Josh, we heard from Paul there about, how great a place it is to work, that camaraderie, that team spirit, and that intense sense of pride at the job being well done.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, everyone knows each other here, whether you've been in here 5 minutes, 10 years. Like I've worked here with my father, the likes of Christian, the boys, and ultimately 90% of all my best friends are all people I've met in here. So it's definitely a time I hold quite close to my heart, and just hope we're all here together going forward.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things I picked up on today is, despite the fact that it's been, really tough for everyone, it is also a chance to look back and some happy memories as well.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, some of the banter we've all had, and when people have gone through tough times, like 90% of the time they've turned to the people in work, not anybody outside. So yeah, got a lot of happy memories here. So I got nothing to be sad about, and hopefully, like you said, we'll all be here in 3-4 years' time, firing it back up.
And it's a great point you make. This is, it's the end of one chapter, but it's clearly the start of a next chapter. There's a massive investment project going on in Caster 1 and Caster 3 here. So a bright future for continuous casting in Port Talbot.
100%. You just got to look at the age of our assets, the time and effort the boys are putting in day to day to keep them going, and unfortunately we've come to that point we need to make a tough decision to make sure we've got another 25-30 years in front of us. Hopefully give my children the living that I've been given and my wife's been given. So yeah, 100% positive time in my opinion.
Josh, listen, really appreciate your honesty today, really appreciate your time as well. Thank you so much for that. And finally, if we just bring in Christian. Last but certainly not least, Christian. Again, just echoing what the boys have said already. Clearly an emotional day, a difficult day, a tough occasion for everyone. but a chance to look back and reflect on some positives and some real pride at a job well done as well.
Yes, it's been an emotional day. We've all been expecting it for a long time, but even though you expect something, it is emotional when it comes to this point. Watching the last slabs going out earlier, the last ladle going back, it is sad. But there are exciting times ahead. This place will be back alive in 3 to 4 years, and the good times will be back.
Yeah, it's a special place, isn't it? A special place to work, a special place to visit. A lot of people won't know what it's like to be inside this place, what it's like to experience it and sort of feel it and smell it and get our sense of the place. Just tell us a little bit, if you could, about what life was like inside this building.
Right, well, I've been here 29 years, and it can be hectic. The camaraderie with the team is absolutely fantastic. You have your highs, you have your lows. It's a pleasure to work on equipment of this size from an engineering point of view. There's not many places like it. It is unique. There's not much left like this in the UK. It's going to be sad to see it go for the time being.
Yeah, a unique place, but also a unique team and a unique bond between the people that work here.
Yes, the camaraderie between the teams, whether you're on operations, on engineering, you all work together. We've got an end goal, and the main thing is to achieve that. So there's just a special bond that I don't think other places get that.
Yeah, as you heard there, it is a unique place. There's been some pretty intense emotions here today. There's been some tears of sadness. There's also been some tears of joy and a huge amount of pride as people look back on their time here. Christian said it there is an end goal in sight, and really that starts now. The start of a new journey to a brighter, greener future for Tata Steel UK.